Hello English-speaking world, all the German learners, I greet you. In this video I want to talk about German articles and declination. But before we analyze the German article, I want to take a look at the English article because they have a lot in common. The English article has two functions. First of all, it shows that there will be a noun coming. And secondly, it shows whether this noun is specific or unspecific. If you use the definite article the, then that means that the listener knows which thing you're talking about. So there's a reference to something that has been said before or that is obvious in the current situation. The indefinite article a or an, however, is used when introducing new things, or it is used when there's no reference, so it could be any one of those things. Here's an example. Would you bring me a beer, please? Make sure that the beer is cold. In the first sentence, the indefinite article a is used, because something new is introduced and there's no reference to a specific beer. It should be just a random one. In the second sentence, the definite article the is used. That is because now it's not just a random beer. It's a specific beer. It's the speaker's beer that should be cold. So the listener knows which beer should be cold. There's one more important thing, and that is the plural form of a noun without an article. This is called a zero article. The meaning is as if you would add in general behind it. So, for example, I like cats. Then cats is a noun in the plural and there's no article in front of it. So that means you like cats in general. These rules apply to German as well. Now, in German, the articles contain more information than in English. That is because there are the so-called cases in German. A case is a mode that determines the function of a noun. Simply put, the articles are different depending on what role the noun plays in the sentence. There are 4 cases. The most important one is the subject case, which is called nominative. If the article is in the subject case, that means the noun is the subject of the sentence. To make things more interesting, German has divided all nouns into 3 sexes: male, neutral, and female. If the noun is a man, then you have to use the male article. If the noun is a woman, then you have to use the female article, with some exceptions. If the noun, however, is a thing, now you might think, of course, now he will say that the article must be neutral then, right? No, you're wrong. Things can be any of the 3 sexes. There are some rules and a lot of tendencies that can tell you the sex of a noun. But unfortunately, you will have to learn the sex together with your vocabulary. It has historically developed like this, and it is rather random. And finally, if either of those is in the plural, you have to use the plural article. So let's take a look at the subject case articles. I will start with a definite article. So in English, it would be the. The male article is der, der, der. The neutral article is das, das, das. The female article is die, die, die. And the plural article is also die. When a German teaches you a new noun, he will use the subject case article to show you whether it is male, neutral, or female. It might be helpful in the future to remember that the R which I marked blue, is a signal for the nominative case. The second most important case is the object case, which makes a noun an object. It is called accusative. The only difference between nominative and accusative is the male article. It is den, den, den. The rest is just the same. As the subject case and the object case are the most important cases, I recommend mastering those two first, before continuing to learn the other cases. Learning all articles and all cases at once is usually not very practical. The next case is called dative. This case makes the noun a receiver of an object or an action. For example, she gave the man the beer. In this sentence, the man is the receiver and in German would be in the dative case. In the dative, as well as in the next case that is going to follow, the male and neutral article are the same. So I put the symbols together. The male and neutral dative article is dem, dem, dem. The female article is der, der, der. And the plural article is den, den, den. To make sure that it is not confused with the accusative singular, in the plural you need to add an n at the end of the noun. And last and also least important, there is the possession case, which is called genitive. If you use this case, the noun will be the owner of something. That can be an actual thing, or it can be an attribute of some sort. It is best translated into English by of the. For example, the wife of the teacher, the door of the room, the blue of the ocean. In German, of the would be the genitive article. The English construction, the teacher's wife, does not work in German, unless the noun is a person's name. To be exact, it does exist, but it is outdated. The male and neutral genitive article is des, des, des. If you use des, then you need to have an additional s at the end of the noun, similar to English. The female article is der, just like the dative, and the plural article is the same. It is der. Let's take a look at what we've learned so far. This is the declination of the definite article. I shortened the cases by their first letter, so blue is the subject case, red is the object case, green is the receiver case, and yellow is the possession case. The signals for the cases are nominative R, accusative N, dative M, and genitive S. I also marked them with the appropriate color. Now let's take a look at the indefinite article, which is in English or an. For the subject case, the male and neutral article is ein, ein, ein. The female article is eine, eine, eine. For the object case, the male article is einen, einen, einen. And the rest is the same as the subject case. Do you see a similarity between the indefinite and definite article? Right. Only the male article is different, and both end in en. And I'm sure you will see more similarities when we look at the receiver case. The dative article for male and neutral is einen, einen, einen. And the female article is einer, einer, einer. You see, the ending is the same as with the definite article. By the way, if you use the plural, remember that you have to add the n if it's the dative case. And the same similarities apply to the possession case. The genitive article for male and neutral nouns is eines, eines, eines. Remember that you have to add an s to the noun. The female article is einer, einer, einer. So if you take a look at the declination table, you see that you don't have to learn anything new except the word ein, because all the changes you need to do are the same changes that you did with the definite article. Now, one last thing I want to mention is that these cases are sometimes called by their numbers. There's a first case, a second case, a third case, and a fourth case. In this list you can see the numbers of the cases. The subject case is the first one, the possession case is the second one, the receiver case is the third one, and then the fourth one is the object case. I think the reason for that is the order in which they occur in a sentence. If you take a look at this example, der Lehrer des Kindes gibt dem Vater den Brief. The teacher of the child gives the father the letter. So I've marked the cases by color and wrote the number under it. So you see it's 1, 2, 3, 4. By the way, if you're wondering why there is an es at the end of Kind, that is an alternative to s. It is an older version of that grammar. This numeration is not very practical for learning purposes, but I just want to give you the information so you know which one the first, second, third, and fourth is. Alright, that's it for today's tutorial. I hope you learned a lot. If you liked my video, please like it and share it with your friends. And if you have any questions, you can write them in the comments and I will try to answer them. Vielen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit.